journos back at Newcastle United Media Centre. Very cold Newcastle
Freezing
United
this
Media
morning,
Centre,
is it?
Jordan.
Bitter.
But warmed up by your presence. Good to see you
mate.
back.
No, I appreciate that, mate. It's good to be back.
Yeah?
I've had a lovely time off.
Yeah. Did Newcastle nearly ruin it?
Yes. So I managed to watch around about the first half an hour. Just as Harvey Barnes goal, that's when I turned off. I was still on the runway at the time watching it on my phone.
Right.
And I was promised Wi-Fi on the plane into New York. No, Wi-Fi didn't work, so I didn't know the Newcastle United versus Brentford score until I touched down in New York about 7 hours later. Oof. And the reaction that I had to that result was one of pure shock.
Shock?
Yeah, because I watched your video and stuff after. It sounded like a second half capitulation in many ways. Everything went wrong. Dan Burn getting sent off, same old struggles in many ways. So I thought Newcastle going into the break, they might hold out for something and come away from the game with something. But typical Newcastle, typical of what they are on the road this season. To slump to a defeat like that was very, very frustrating. But I managed to park it, enjoy my visit in New York, and now I'm back here at Eddie Howe press conference this morning.
That's what it's all about.
Talking about Newcastle United again. I was much mentally better without Newcastle United in my life, but it is. It's the only constant in my life. Newcastle United.
I can relate. I remember going on my honeymoon. Just saw the message Alexander Isak once. I was like, turn my phone off. So yeah, but I think it's good to be back. Good to be back in action. Manchester City at home. They don't come much tougher this weekend.
No.
How are you feeling going into it? Because ultimately Newcastle, other than the odd Champions League game, Spurs in the Carabao Cup, haven't really impressed this season. It's been frustrating, and Eddie Howe acknowledged that.
Yeah, it's a strange one because Manchester City, it's a massive game, but it's one of them weird ones at the minute because Newcastle United, this Newcastle United team, and Eddie Howe will get up for the big games on the lights exchanges. It's like a cliche that's saying now, but it's true. I expect Newcastle to turn up tomorrow. Will you learn anything new about this Newcastle United side? Possibly not, but what they need to do now, and one big concern is that they're not creating much. So I just want to see a performance where they stop creating chances. Yeah. And they look like they're going to score goals because I haven't really seen that. Yeah. That's the. You compare the sort of home and away record, but the constant this season is they don't create much either at home or away from home.
Yeah, they're not playing well at home or away.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just getting the results at home.
But they still always turn up and they're still always in the game, and I expect that tomorrow. So will anything new? Possibly not. But in terms of the context of the league table, looking at the league table, oh my God. I looked at the league table after the Brentford defeat, 2 points above the relegation zone, 14 from the Premier League. Like that was unthinkable at the start of the season.
Yeah, it's not great.
So they need a result tomorrow to to pull themselves back up the table. It sounds remarkable saying that, but they actually do because 11 games in now, it's getting the stage where if they don't start picking up results soon, they're going to be in that bottom bracket where you actually might be going in the new year thinking, they're in a bit of a relegation battle. Yeah, look, that's probably an extreme view, but taking the league table what it is, it doesn't look pretty. So because they're so bad away from home, it puts pressures on. Away from home, it puts the pressure on these home games to get a result. And ultimately, when you're losing to Brentford and West Ham back to back, the pressure is you've got to go and get something against Manchester City.
That's the thing. The negativity almost spirals on the back of a run of defeats, and then you go, where's the next win going to come from? And then when you've got Manchester City next, a team who, look, it was put Eddie Howe. He's played Manchester City 18 times in the Premier League. He's drawn 2 and lost 16. That's not a great record. His only win was in the Carabao Cup in 2023. So, Eddie Howe sort of chuckled at that record, but it's not great. But it's just sort of systematic of Manchester City being one of the best teams in the country over the past decade, arguably the best team in the country over that time. And it's not going to be easy for Newcastle. But what you're saying, like the league table not looking so good, is a draw enough for Newcastle? Do you take a draw because it's Man City, or do you go, no, you need to be winning games? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I know it's a tough one. I think if you offered a draw now, I would probably take it because
it's a step in the right direction, innit?
But it doesn't really help them,
no,
because they've had such a poor start. So how tomorrow plays out, I'm not sure. As I say, I think there's got to be a reaction, and I think there probably will be because this is what they do. They're at home, but the overall picture, do you learn anything new? I'm not sure because you look at the week coming up.
Unless they're going to batter them, which I can't see happening. But
no, that would be nice. that would inspire some confidence. But again, just a big question is: you play Man City, need a result because of how poor you've been overall. and then you go to Marseille in midweek, and then you go to Everton. So that's 2 away games. Everton's the big one for me next week. Good luck, and that sounds really silly looking far ahead, but tomorrow is sort of like doing anything new. But they've got to get something tomorrow. It's really important in terms of actually getting something. I'm just I don't know. I don't know how it'll unfold.
Yeah.
Just the pressure's on. It's proper pressure time.
Yeah, and a big talking point that me and Liam addressed in our last video, and even our video before that after Brentford, and it was something asked of Eddie Howe, because you watch the international break, Nick Voldemort, there's sort of been this narrative built up about, well, is he an actual striker? Is he an issue in the side? And we've sort of said, well, no, not really. It's just the side needs to adapt to him better.
Yeah.
And then you watch him go away with Germany, and he looks like a proper centre forward. Like, after being starved of chances all season at Newcastle, really, he's almost surpassed anything that he should have done, because he's scored pretty much most chances he's got for Newcastle, which has been very impressive. And then you watch him go away with Germany, impressed. And then Eddie Howe was asked about him today, and I thought Eddie Howe's comments were quite interesting.
Yeah, he did mention about needing a bit more from Nick Voldemort and the players around him, and I agree with the players around him. But how
what more can a player do where he's
Exactly.
not touching the ball? He's trying to drop deep. He's trying to show for
Exactly.
everyone. I mean, as a manager, you always want more for your players. You
course you
always
do,
demand more. But I thought it was an interesting comment that's saying, yeah, we need more from Nick. It's implying that the current levels aren't quite satisfactory. Which, to be fair, Newcastle aren't scoring many goals. So
that's the problem.
Sort of, yeah.
If Nick Voldemort is not the problem here, it's the system and the players around him. Not that. How much more can a bloke do? He literally came for like a meteoric rise, essentially a 6-month rise in Germany for a club record fee. They literally signed a player in Yoane Wissa, so Nick Voldemort didn't have to play games really, and it was like a project player, even though there was a ridiculous
record signing project player. Yeah.
So then, obviously, Yoane Wissa gets injured, and then he's thrown straight in the deep end, and he scored 6 goals. He couldn't do anything more, in my opinion. I think that the team's struggles. If you're looking at the problems in Newcastle United's side, he is bottom of the pile. It's about trying to find a solution that suits him. If Nick Voldemort isn't the full press and striker, which he isn't, and he isn't I think in terms of high press, he doesn't give you that. That's not what he is, and that's not his fault. You signed him, the club signed him. If you got him playing, find a way to fit him into the system. That's the issue for me.
Yeah, that's what good teams do. And good managers as well. We touched on it in our last video. You make the players you've got work as effectively as possible. You don't try and shoehorn them into a system that doesn't quite work, which I think is sort of what we've seen a little bit, wouldn't it?
I think what we've seen so far is, in many ways, is because of the lack of chances of creating. For me, points to the fact that they've lost a striker, they've put another striker in, and they've not changed anything around them. I think they've tried to make tweaks, hasn't worked. Whereas I hope Eddie Howe has used his international break to look at that and go and
where they haven't had Nick Voldemort there, though, that's the problem.
But it's in all of analysis for Eddie Howe, which you mentioned there. I hope this international break he's used it to find a solution and find ways of playing with Nick Voldemort, because that's the key for me. You get him in matches, Newcastle will be a much better attacking force. I think I'm stating the obvious there, but yeah, they will. Yeah,
because sticking on the strikers, and we'll go on to the injury news afterwards, but Yoane Wissa, it just keeps going on and on, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, we'll come on that in the second half of the video, but
we can do. I'll sum up the injury situation heading into Man City. So obviously Dan Burn is suspended.
Yeah.
We've got no Willisula, which was your question. My question: no Yoane Wissa and no return date for Yoane Wissa. Right.
Yeah.
So push back again. And so those are the 3 players not available. Late calls on Anthony Gordon. Potentially Tino Livramento. Eddie Howe described him as very close and has trained, which I think is very positive.
Yeah, I think you're in the squad. Do you think?
Yeah, I think based on what he was saying, I think
he's quite strong. You sort of didn't give much. He tried not to give much away, but he was also.
He said he's such an important player. I said that's textbook Eddie Howe priming a player to come back into the side. Like, that's the way he was speaking about it. And then spoke about Lewis Hall again. He's played well with England under 21s. Has to be managed, but with no Dan Burn, Lewis Hall surely shoo-in.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd be shell shocked if Lewis Hall wasn't in the team.
It's an insult to Lewis Hall, unless there's some performance
unless,
data or fitness
yeah.
data that we're not privy to.
But England, whatever data this is, weren't privy to it. England the 21s. I mean, they played them for, I think it was 70 minutes on Friday, and then played them for half an hour the other night.
Exactly. Yeah.
So for me, that suggests the player is fit. But of course, we're not, as you mentioned there, fitness data or whatever. We're not privy to that. But looking at the face of it, back-to-back cameos as well against Athletic Club and Brentford.
Did well.
Surely he's in a position now to come in the team, and once he gets in the team, I don't think he should come out of it. Unless it's for rotation reasons.
No, that's a dial-in off Eddie Howe further down the line, because Lewis Hall is your best left back.
Yeah.
Tino Livramento as well has a shout in there. And then who's your best left-sided centre-back? Because I think it's a bit up in the air. People would say, oh, well, Sven Botman. I think recent displays have probably shown, well, maybe it's not quite as certain as it
I feel like I've came in from the cold this week, because it's strange. It is a strange feeling not being at Brentford and trying to catch up this week, because I only returned to work on.
You missed out
on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It was rubbish.
Yeah, but it's just like trying to get yourself back in the zone and get a feeling for the thing, because that's one thing from Brentford is I didn't really feel the emotion of what it was like to be them, what it was like to witness. So being taken out of that's quite difficult for me to come back into the day. I imagine there'll be probably a lot of people that would like to see a grilling from Eddie Howe today. Emotionally, I didn't quite feel that. I didn't know if that was right, because I wasn't at Brentford. That's why it's so important that we're there every week. Yeah. So you build up this picture, and you can be there.
Yeah.
Going on a tangent here, but
no, yeah, I know what you're saying. I'd always go. I think the grilling or tough, like the really tough questions, are more the reactive questions after the game.
Yeah.
I think before the game, saying, well, Brentford 2 weeks ago was crap, Eddie. What are you going to do about it? Is sort of like, well, that ship sailed almost.
A little bit.
It's more after Man City. If things don't go your way, that's when I'd say ask the tough questions. Though I think there's possibly a place for tough questions in any given press conference.
Yeah, I mean, just from my point of view, it wasn't. I don't know how supporters felt like. I mean, I've seen a lot of anger and frustration after the Brentford game, and I've seen your press conference questions as well, and I thought they were really, really good. But yeah, I just feeling wise, it's been a really weird one being withdrawn, but I'm back now, back in the action. Start again. I mean, I started today, but we start again tomorrow.
Good return.
Yeah.
Hopefully return to winning ways for Newcastle United, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And then quickly off to Mossa.
Yeah.
But before all that, here's a word from our Geordie Journals sponsors. Comply IT Limited. Worrying about disposing of your old IT equipment? Don't be. Comply IT handle everything. Secure collection, detailed tracking, and certified data destruction. That's Comply IT Limited. Four Rivers Financial Planning offer holistic financial advice for all stages of life, ensuring your plan remains robust and adaptable in the ever-changing world we live in. For 21 years, JLM Travel have been offering great deals on package holidays and cruises, plus low deposits and free kids places are available. Branches at Maingate Team Valley and Front Street Wickham. RJ Building Surveyors is a trusted RICS accredited family-run firm with over 15 years of experience specialising in residential surveys and valuations. Based in Yorkshire, their expert services extend nationwide. Whether buying, selling or seeking peace of mind about your home, they've got you covered. Right, so those were 4 Geordie Journals sponsors. The link's in the description below, and of course there's the Geordie Journals shop, or if you want to partner up with the Geordie Journals, what do you email?
I'm back, yes. geordiejournals@gmail.com. Please drop us an email.
I tried to set Liam up for it in one of the last videos. You're like,
no, I see. I have caught up on the videos. My views and judgment has been tarnished by you two. What's happened over the last couple of weeks.
Oh well, that's what we're there for.
Exactly,
if you haven't seen the game. Yeah. Anyway, what were alluded to before the ad break, Yoane Wissa obviously out. Asked Eddie Howe, what's the time frame with him? He said, well, no clear time frame. He's maybe entering that pre-season period now. He's still not training with the team. Bearing in mind he was injured early September. We're approaching the 3-month mark since his PCL injury picked up with DR Congo, and still yet to train with the club. He's been brought in £55 million from Brentford, yet to kick a ball, yet to train fully with the first team, back on the grass. But like we said previously, back on the grass doesn't mean an awful lot. It's like sort of press conference speak, media speak for like, yeah, it's a step in the right direction, but it's not really, doesn't really tell you much. So, Yoane Wissa, it's just been a bit of a nightmare for player, club, and everyone really.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to the sort of Nick Voltemore situation, Newcastle brought him in, and then you overspend on a now 29-year-old just for a short-term fixes because he was needed for now and then. And actually, it's turned out it hasn't been a short-term fix at all. You're looking at now. This is long-term now in terms of being without him. When he returns, it is the biggest mystery ever known to man. Because every time we ask Eddie Howe, there's no return day. I mean, there was initially where it was like
keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah,
though,
exactly. Keeps getting
which
pushed
is
back.
Never
But
a
now it's been pushed back to the point where it's like, yeah, we'll see when he's ready. Which it's probably because they've gone so far. I can understand it from a club point of view, where it's like you've gone so far now that you need to rush him back. But I don't know. From an Eddie Howe perspective, do you? Because is he the striker that, sort of asked us, is he the striker that transforms Newcastle's attack line?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like the Isak replacement, direct replacement, similar sort of style. But obviously the club have took the view now that they're not going to rush him back. But what's his fitness like? Is he even close to, like, we don't know these, we don't know the answers to
the
these.
only hint Eddie Howe gave is he's entering that pre-season period now, and if you go back maybe a month or so ago, he said, well, it'll be a 6-week pre-season
6 weeks, didn't he?
period. So if he's entering that pre-season period, 6 weeks, so it's going to be 6 weeks till he's ready to start games. Then that brought me on to my next question, which I sort of knew Eddie Howe wouldn't give a very definitive answer to, which was AFCON. The AFCON squads get announced in less than 3 weeks' time. Are you telling me DR Congo or Newcastle are going to sanction or even call up a player who hasn't kicked a football at club level in 6 months and who may or may not have even returned from injury? Do you think that's going to be allowed to happen? I'll say it now, and it may date very badly. Yoane Wissa cannot, and I don't think will go to AFCON because the dates don't add up.
Yeah.
It used to, back maybe a couple of months ago, we were looking and going, oh well, he'll definitely be back available for AFCON, and then that's a dilemma for Newcastle. I think it's been pushed back so much that it's been taken out of everyone's hands, and it's just like, no, you can't go to AFCON. They managed with him all right in the 2 World Cup playoff matches during the break. So you're looking ahead. You've got that caveat in terms of the World Cup playoff match against, well, it's going to be most likely Jamaica in March. So you just let that happen, get him fully back fit, and just sort of wipe your hands with AFCON, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, I said a couple of months ago, and I got a bit of criticism where I said Newcastle United should block Yoane Wissa from going
he's blocked
to
himself,
AFCON.
his knees blocked him, I think.
So I said that on emotion at the time, but now I'm speaking with logic. He cannot go to AFCON.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. When is he going to return? It's 4 weeks now until AFCON. I think you said in there 3 weeks until the DR Congo name the squad.
Yeah.
That for a player that hasn't stepped foot on the training field yet, it needs a pre-season, which Eddie Howe previously stated is 6 weeks. That AFCON for me can't happen, and it would be a lunacy for him to go to AFCON essentially half fit.
Yeah.
Newcastle haven't invested 55 million, overpaid for a player, invested a lot of money in a player for him to just go straight to AFCON, where essentially his first appearance first start could be at AFCON. That's not
Imagine
right.
he got injured again.
It
would kick off.
Yeah. I don't think there's. I think from the player's perspective, it's a tough one, really tough one, because you're looking at now which way do you look at it in terms of DR Congo's potential progression in the World Cup? Is it almost like a get out clause for Yoane Wissa and saying, look, I can't do AFCON, but I'm 100%
The World
right
Cup
for the
means
World
more.
Cup.
I know people have sort of criticised our videos previously for downplaying AFCON, but ultimately every nation, the ultimate is the World Cup, and for DR Congo to be there or have a very good chance of getting there, that's more important than any AFCON game.
I just wonder if again, on the flip side, that did DR Congo go, if you're not coming to AFCON, well, you're not coming to the World Cup. I mean, are they in a position to do that with essentially their star forward? I don't know. I don't know. The dynamics of the AFCON and Congo qualifying for the World Cup, got my words out there. It could work either way.
Yeah, but I mean, fair enough if he refused to go, but I think he's got a fairly good argument of going, look, I haven't played football. Like, I don't think I can do it. Like, I don't think I'd be doing myself service to be in this squad because I'm injured. If he was simply fully fit, firing, scoring goals for Newcastle, he went, no, I'm not playing. I'd understand that. But the bloke has been injured for a long time, barely kicked a ball. I think he has a fairly solid argument to say he's not fit.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at logic now, from the overall, he can't go. He can't go.
He's not going. Jody Journos.
I don't think he'll go. I don't think he'll go. I mean, as I say, I said a few months back, but I'm more sure.
Its emotion has gone to logic.
Yes,
now.
it has. Which it can't happen. That's how I feel. I agree. I don't think he can go. I don't think he should.
You were just spot on. You were just ahead of your time. You were just 2 months early.
Emotion put us ahead of the time.
So
but, a bit of a mystery situation surrounding him. We're asking the questions about Yoane Wissa. We're not getting much back. The club are being very, I wouldn't say secretive, but they're not giving much away, are they? So
I don't think they can, really, because it goes to show that why Eddie Howe wouldn't give a clear return date, because whenever he's hinted at a return date, it's been pushed back. So it's just like, and now there's no international break to go, well, he'll be back after the next international break. So if he said that now, we'll go, oh God, he's out till April. So
yes, typical.
Not good, and I think it's sort of indicative of Newcastle season as a whole. No, I think if Yoane Wissa is fit and playing, Newcastle aren't in the position they're in.
No, I agree.
So, but it's all hypotheticals. It's all what could have been, what ifs, buts, and maybes. And ultimately, Newcastle haven't been good enough this season, particularly in the Premier League, and they need to start delivering. And
agreed.
I think the attack is the main part of that. Midfield as well. But how are we lining up this weekend against Manchester City?
So, I want to see a change in goal. I do. I want to see a change in goal. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, me and Liam discussed it on our previous video.
I'll not go too much into depth then.
A concussed Nick Pope. Right, he's back from concussion. But
yes. Yeah. I want to see Aaron Ramsdale in. I think now we've seen him in the Premier League matches. I think it's a perfect excuse, if you like, for Eddie Howe to go to Nick Pope and go, look, we're going to give Ramas a go.
Are you on those terms with him?
Ramas.
Some
don't know why I
would
said
claim
that
to be,
actually, but yeah, I think you made the point actually I have watched the video, so that's why I sort of knew what he said. I asked you, but I knew you wanted Ramsdale and go. Yeah. But looking back to last year, in the run that Newcastle had when they had a poor start of the season, and they went on that run where they won 9 games in a row. What did that coincide with? It coincided with a goalkeeper change, and the goalkeeper change who was comfortable with the ball at his feet, as you mentioned, an extra defender. So that's why I want to see Ramsdale come in.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, you agree.
I mean, check out my last video. I think I named the team, but I would have it as my team in the last video. I'm not sure I've changed my mind, but I'll let you go, and if I disagree with anything, I'll let you know. Right. So, defence.
Yeah, Team Livramento, I don't think they'll put him straight in. So Kieran Trippier continues at right back for me.
Yeah.
Centre halves. I'm gonna be controversial. It's the partnership no one is talking about, and I had this conversation with Liam in the week. Malik Chow is a right centre back, and I want to see Fabian Scurr coming on the left side centre back. I think, again, I'm going off from what I've read about. Sven Botman had a really poor afternoon.
He did. He wasn't the only one.
No, of course he wasn't the only one. But actually, Sven Botman, as much as I think he's been sort of applauded for his performances, I can count at least 3 goals I think he's been at fault for. Brentford, well, I don't know if he's at fault for a goal at Brentford, but he's really poor.
The third one I didn't think he was very. I'd argue he was at fault.
That's what I was looking at. The Arsenal one a few months back. It was one of the last minute goals.
Was it not the first?
He lost the header. No, it was Moreno.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great header by Moreno, but he's in that position there, and I'd blame him for that, if you like. And then the Brighton goal as well, Danny Welbeck's opener.
Yeah.
So I think he's as much. I don't think he's been. He's been terrible.
He's had some great performances.
He has, yeah. But I just think, in terms of Scurr coming in, you've got 2 like proper ball playing centre halves, and Sven Botman is good with the ball at his feet, but I think Fabian Scurr has got better distribution than Sven Botman. So I know we talk about radical changes.
You know what? On that, I think I'm going against what I said previously. Could you go 3 at the back?
I wouldn't be surprised to see that more, to be honest.
If you go Scurr, Botman or share Chow Botman, and then you drop, say, a Joe Linton from the midfield who is fine, according to Eddie Howe, but did go off with that sort of leg injury against Brentford. So, and then have Sandro Tonali and Bruno in the midfield, and then Gordon, Voldemort, Alanga, Murphy, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that, but I think a 5 at the back is a rational thing for Eddie Howe to do.
I think the 5 at the back's a possibility, but I was naming a 4-3-3, but now we've mentioned 5 at the back, I'm like, So I'll stick with 4-3-3 for now, and what I would name if he did name that. But I'm also sort of in favour of the 5 at the back, where you would have Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, and Malik Chow. But anyway, I named the 2 centre halves. Lewis Hall is a left back for the reasons spoken to before. Has to come back in. The midfield 3, I think it's time for Jacob Ramsey to have a run in the team, just because Joe Linton has been so inconsistent, out of form. So you've got a player there you pay a lot of money for, and Jacob Ramsey, a left-sided midfielder, sort of like not a like-for-like replacement, but again, plays on that side. Let's see him. Tonali, Bruno is the other 2. Left side, Harvey Barnes, I think stays in. I don't know. Again, I didn't totally see. I didn't see the Brentford game back, but from what I'd seen, he was the only player that produced any kind of bit of quality. So for me, probably deserves to stay in. Nick Voldemort as a striker, right hand side. Bit of a tough one. Probably goes against what I've been saying, but I want to see Anthony Elanga in.
That's what
I think.
It's interesting you say that.
It's like it's not now or never for Anthony Elanga, but you're at a point now where your season needs to flip. You need to turn it around. So let's turn the sign that it was essentially a marquee signing in the summer.
Yes.
Let's turn him and let's see what he's made of.
Yeah, and it's the type of game that could suit him as well. Newcastle will, you'd imagine, not see the majority of the ball. You imagine they'll be pegged back on occasion. So Anthony Elanga play on the break. That's what we want to see more of, and that's the one disappointment for me, because players can go through games and not have goals, not have assists. It happens. You want to see a player who has blistering pace use it, and that's my one criticism of Anthony Elanga. He's had times where he's had almost a half of pitch to run into and just slowed up. Brighton, it was criminal that run at Brighton. I just went like that. Got taken off at half time as a result. I think Eddie Howe knew what was happening in that game. So yeah, Anthony Elanga, just look at your tools, what you've got pace to burn, use it. And I think there's an argument to say the Man City tomorrow could be a good game for him to come into. And then bearing in mind that it's a quick turnaround to Marseille as well on the Tuesday.
Give Elanga a run of games. Look, it might not be the answer. It might not solve his poor start.
I don't think anyone on the right wing's the answer. Jacob Murphy's sort of like the good stopgap who will chip in with goals and assists, and it's fair enough to him. Like he's done a remarkable job. But in terms of who can be Newcastle's starting right winger for the next 5 to 10 years, Anthony Elanga has a better chance of doing that because he's so young and has the potential, but what we've seen so far just hasn't been anywhere near good enough.
Yeah.
You just need to give him the opportunity, I suppose, now. But he's had a lot of opportunities already this season.
I'm doing like a full U-turn here because we have talked about him being out of form and not performing.
I just think it's a roll of the dice. Ultimately, you could play Jacob Murphy tomorrow, get beat quite heavily. You could play Anthony Elanga, get beat quite heavily. I'm not saying
win heavily.
I'm not saying it's a free hit, but for a player like him, who needs a confidence boost, it could be that ideal game for him. Yeah. But in terms of the team, I'm going to go 5 at the back. I'll say Tonali, Bruno in the midfield, and add start Gordon if fit, start Elanga, Nick Voldemort.
He does live for these. He does usually perform well in these big games at St James Park as Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
He's been really underwhelming this season. But then again, so is Anthony Elanga, and I'm putting Anthony Elanga in the team, so I don't know.
Just deliver, please, lads.
just put anyone on there, just get a result, man.
Just play well. That's our team talk.
Just play well.
Eddie calls us in, just play well, lads. You'll be fine.
Look like you're going to score goals, please. create something.
Yes.
Anyway.
So we'll be at St James's Park tomorrow. Liam will also be at St James's Park, but it is his son's birthday,
Yes.
so he will be in the stands. So you'll be treated to another Jordan and Dom duo after the game. But we'll all be heading to Marseille. Sunny Marseille.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, reading the club's advice, don't travel. All right.
We've got jobs to do.
Yeah.
Don't wear your Newcastle shirt.
Keep
you'll be
yourself
all
to
right.
yourself. Should be alright.
Aye, so could make for some interesting videos. But we'll be there. We'll be at St James's Park tomorrow. And of course, if you like what we do, please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell for all your latest Geordie Journals content. And we'll see you at St James's Park, hopefully talking about something more positive
Yeah, hopefully.
after this game against Manchester City. Thanks for watching.